Well, hello, my soul friends. It's Victoria, live on Tuesday. One of my loyal viewers gave me this idea to say live at 555 with, no, live at 555 with Victoria, something like that. Anyway, I'm still trying to find the right way to title this time together. But welcome to those who are joining me live. It looks like there are a few people here. And welcome to those who watch the replay. And a special grateful welcome to those of you who are finding me for the first time. You're curious, you followed your curiosity. Wonderful. Curiosity is one of the most essential companions on a transformational healing, reclaiming soul potential journey. Okay. And okay. Hello, Rafiq. Wonderful to see you or be with you. And tonight, I'm going to do so. Tuesdays, we're starting to find a format here live. So if you're catching the replay, know that you can join me live on Tuesdays at 5:55 Pacific time, and or watch the replay. Okay. And every Tuesday is kind of a transformational topic, a soul work topic, an inner work topic, depending on what I'm feeling is going on in the collective. So my topic tonight is dealing with our wounds, where we are most wounded, our core wounds, talking a little bit about Chiron and our core wounds in our soul chart, and how we are going through a collective transit that was exact on February 19th, but it's still very active. And I feel like it's the theme leading us into the astrological new year, which is happening on March 19th, coming up. So, Chiron, the wounded healer. I know a lot of my viewers do identify with the wounded healer archetype. And quite briefly, the wounded healer is someone who has been wounded. We all have, right? But our core wound becomes what I call our soul medicine, what we're here to offer, what we're here to support others with. But Chiron, the archetype of Chiron, the mythology of Chiron, Chiron could help heal others, but could never heal himself. Along with Chiron, there's an issue or a collective wound of where we are rejected or abandoned. So I want to talk about those in just a little bit, but first we're going to start with a meditation. And so I invite you to, when you watch the replay, there's a few people here, so let me know who's here, where you're viewing from if you'd like. If not, you can remain anonymous. That's okay too. We're going to go into a little meditation just to ground us, just to connect our souls right where we all are, right? And also for me, it's the end of my day, so I like to just let the day go and then open my heart to what this topic is about, what is going to be on my heart to share with you. And hopefully, my hope is always that it'll connect with you right where you are and you feel supported and met right where you are. Okay? So, welcome, and let's now turn away from the external world for just a moment. This meditation, I'm going to offer a little bit more quiet because I typically do more of a guided meditation, but I want to just let us sink in to our inner worlds and into the oneness, in Pisces season. Okay. So let's turn within, close your eyes and go into your inner world and just relax into this moment, following your breath inward, catching up with yourself in this moment. Even if you're watching the replay, I invite you to pause if you're watching the replay and claim this time for you. Time to go in, to listen to your own soul, to connect to your body, to feel how you are doing. It's that befriending self, body, mind, and soul. Befriending, and then especially the topic today, cultivating the compassion or connecting to your compassion in your own being, the compassion you hold for others and you offer to yourself, to tend and mend our wounded places, to tend and mend What is our personal responsibility to heal so we can be of more contribution to the collective unfolding? So just breathing in what you need in this moment, just assess, just imagine, or maybe it's that everyday need you have and that you're searching for on the external. We're going to be talking about our wounds. We're going to be talking about focusing in on the wound of abandonment or rejection. So perhaps as we start, you can breathe in some deep acceptance, the feeling of acceptance. Breathe it in all the way down into your belly. And exhale any sense of rejection or abandonment. Just exhale that energy that you're holding there. Breathing into just being present to whatever you notice in your inner world, in your body, in your mind. Tuning in to listen to that inner conversation that's going on 24/7. Is that inner voice compassionate, loving, accepting, or not so much? As you breathe in, I want to invite us to take a few moments to compassionately witness your own journey and experiences and being wounded or rejected or abandoned or left behind, or a wound of not mattering, or a wound of feeling like you don't belong. These are all kind of tied in together. But as we are individuals, we have an individual relationship with the wounds, right? So just breathe in. Be curious. When you identify a feeling of woundedness, breathe some compassion, more compassion inward. A big part of healing is embracing all of who we are. And I invite you in this moment, as you're starting to connect to the wounded places, letting yourself be present to the inner story, the wound story, the wound experience. I invite you to connect in whatever way is meaningful to you, to a higher power, to Creator, to the great mystery, to nature, to the universe. However, you can find a space of trusting in something greater that is holding us all. And sometimes that is the wound too. Feeling abandoned by God. Or perhaps you had some wounds around your faith or spirituality growing up. Just noticing with compassion. And then being curious about what might the gifts be from each and every experience of wounding in your life. What strengths were cultivated? Instead of why did that happen to you, asking why did it happen for you? What purpose is there that we can find and gather and weave together our own unique contribution? Soul medicine. So I invite you now just to, this may sound silly, but this is what I'm hearing. I want you to imagine or invite in a hug from Creator or the universe. Inviting in a sense of feeling you're not alone, that right where you are being held. So I hope that you feel something. I'm definitely feeling a little tickle in my belly, a little joy, a little like, oh, good reminder. I needed that. These soul reminders that we need for our human experience. So now, just feeling yourself grounded in this moment, held in what you need, I invite you to gently open your eyes and come back and join me. Okay, that felt great for me. I felt definitely, I was hearing the words before I said them, and then I was feeling this kind of lightness rise up in my being. So I hope you felt something too. Okay. All right, my shy people who are watching but not letting me know you're here. That's okay. I understand. Um, I understand. I have a quirky wound myself, which is I desire to support and contribute, but I also have this wound of invisibility, not being seen. And how interesting I am here on a YouTube channel. All right. So, what is your relationship with the idea of wound and gift? It's something that is very near and dear to my heart, something that I have been cultivating over many years of being a hypnotherapist. Thank you, Rafiq. Welcome. Where's my Jamie? I know you're here, maybe. Um, to really embrace, and this is a lot of what I talk about on this channel, when I work with my clients, that the philosophy that we are souls having a human experience, and to embrace the human experience. Trust the human experience. Trust, it's kind of trite, but trust the journey of unfolding. That all the things that are happening. I actually make a distinction. I don't believe everything happens for a reason. No, I believe things happen, and then we align with the learning, the lessons, the um, purpose that we can cultivate from what happens, right? I believe Creator is much more compassionate than, oh, that happened to, purposefully hurt. There is purpose. I do also believe, I also believe, well, hello, Haley. Welcome. Yay. I'm glad you're here. Um, so we're talking about wounds tonight, and we're talking about the gift in the wound. We're talking about the human experience, the soul having a human experience, and how we find purpose in our wounds, and how I believe it already happens without us being conscious of it, that we cultivate. Again, I came up with this term. I call it soul medicine, because I feel like your soul is like, I'm going to use this painful experience and I'm going to make something beautiful to contribute to the world. But here's the key, and when we're wounded healers, it's really meant for us first, so we can be stronger and more um, capable of delivering what we're here in our unique purpose to offer. Okay, so I'm going to go to my notes here. So give me a moment and I'll be back to chat with you all. If you have any questions, please do put them in the comments and I'll come right back. I'm tying in this talk with the idea of Chiron, because Chiron has been in Aries since 2019. Chiron is an asteroid that is it's called the Wounded Healer, and it is where, in your chart, where it is in your chart is where your core wound is. But collectively, we're experiencing this transit of Chiron in Aries until 2027. And on February 19th, or the 20th, somewhere around there, we had a conjunction between Chiron and the North Node. So North Node is moving us towards destiny, moving us towards purpose. And so when those two came together, and they're still working together, for me, I just thought, wow, before the astrological new year happens on March 19th, spring equinox for Northern Hemisphere, but it's our collective new year, though. It feels like the universe, God, great mystery, however you connect, is wanting us to really do a deeper dive with our wounds. Are we living from our wounded being, or have we done enough healing that we're in our empowered being? I think it's a big push there. Aries is about our identity. Where have we been rejected, abandoned because of who we are? Now, this happens to all of us in a world where the first primary need that the human experience has is the need to fit in, to be safe. The first way we do that is to be conditioned to our early family's agreed upon programming. So I've noticed this up in the collective, in myself as well. And I like to be really vulnerable and honest. I, yeah, there's been a lot of old wounds coming up. Why? And I'm seeing it in my clients, my friends. Why? To get an opportunity to say, okay, I'm really going to get the gifts of this wound. And I'm really going to offer myself what I need so I can rise up with my gifts. And so it is this time, especially in Pisces season right now. I had this thought that came to me the other day in a meditation. It is spending time in meditation with the oneness that we get to reclaim our authentic me-ness or you-ness, right? Our authentic selves. We find that when we go in to the great mystery, when we go into that sense of oneness, which is what is Pisces season is all about. That's what dream work is like. It's like we're just floating in the mystery and seeing different scenarios. And, so a lot of people are having more intense dreams and a spontaneous imagery, right? This is what I feel is like, this time of the year, the collective season, we are nature unfolding. We follow the cycles, and that's why I love astrology, the cycle of the celestial movements that reflect symbolically what's happening in our world, right? So working with our wounds, shifting perspective from victim to victor, from wounded to empowered. So we want to distill the wounds to cultivate our own elixir, our own healing, our own soul medicine. But first, we need to be able to be compassionately witnessed at the level of our deepest wounds. And most people can't meet us there. That's why a lot of people come to me. But ultimately, we need to meet ourselves compassionately at the level of our deepest wounds. Okay. So, what's your deepest wound? Are you aware? Do you have a sense? Again, we all share these collective stories and experiences. And the reason why I wanted to highlight the wound of abandonment is because of this conjunction between Chiron. The story of Chiron, I'll tell you really quick, and I think I may do a whole different video on this, but Chiron, the mythology of Chiron is that Chiron was rejected by both parents. It was a centaur, half human, half horse, and rejected right at the beginning. Apollo um, took care of him and taught him the medicine way, the healing way. And Chiron went on to become a great healer, but could not ultimately heal his own wounds. There's a long story of the mythology, but just that's enough to focus for where I think we are right now with Chiron and the North Node. Where were you wounded in your identity and who you are, and that place that I think we all have a sense of who our authentic nature is. I think at least we have a glimmer, but at least we know when we're not feeling authentic, when we're not feeling seen at the deep level of our essence, right? So if you're comfortable now or on replay, talk about, right, what wounds you've identified. The wound of abandonment, do you relate to that? Do you relate to the wound of not being seen, not mattering? Where do you feel most wounded? But this abandonment wound, I think it's so collective. I have this sort of theory that I haven't fleshed out yet, but I really do feel that we come from source, we come from love, we come from just, floating in the sea of spirit, right? My niece passed away many years ago now, and she came to me in my dreams a few times, and I'll never forget this dream that reminds me of Pisces season or just being in the spirit realm. She said to me, Auntie, it's so cool. She's talking about her experience in spirit. She said, you can be everywhere and anywhere all at the same time. And then you could decide where you want to be and focus, and I was like, yes, that feels right. Kind of like dreams, like we're everywhere. We can be on the ground, then we're flying, and then we're in another country or another world. That kind of a being in spirit. So when we're in that oneness, we come from oneness, we come from love, and then we come into the human experience where the first breath we take is a sense of, I need to feel safe here. And for me, it's already a sense of separation or feeling abandoned, like all that was holding you isn't available, right? And then we come into our family of origins. And I always say we don't blame our family of origins. We are meant to have some wounds. So we can cultivate more of what we're here to do. And they all do the best they can with their programming. And at some point, as we do our healing, we find that we may even have gratitude for those hard things because it made us who we are, right? So the gift, I didn't mean to say that, but it came, the gift of abandonment. I was going to say the wound of abandonment, the gift of abandonment. I guess we're going there. The gift of abandonment. Let's go there. I do want to see you and acknowledge if you've been abandoned in any way in this lifetime. I feel you, So my dad left when I was born, okay? And I don't know exactly if it was when my mom was pregnant or just after I was born. I have a sense it was after I was born. It was, my poor mom. She was with three other kids, evicted from her house. We lived in a motel. I remember hearing that my first crib was the drawer in the motel. I remember watching Marilyn Monroe's documentary, and the same thing that her first home was a motel, and her crib was a drawer, and I was like, whoa, okay, I'm in good company. Anyway, then my dad left, and first felt sense of abandonment. We can have abandonment before we're verbal, before we understand cognitively what's happening. Then he came back when I was 9 for a little while, and I didn't know. No one told me, because I was a kid. And even though they didn't tell me, I had an intuition. And he died when I was 9. And I often say when I work with people who have had death in their lifetimes, especially from a parent, even if we can cognitively realize, it wasn't by choice, it still feels and reads like abandonment. That's how it feels in our being, right? So, but abandonment can be a parent who's there, but not there, if you know what I mean. They're in addiction, they're workaholics, they are emotionally not capable of connecting and seeing you in the way that you needed. There's that type of abandonment. There is, just rejection from a parent or a family member can feel very, very painful and very wounding to the core of your identity, the core of your being. And this is what we're reclaiming now with this Chiron North Node. What wound is preventing you from fulfilling your purpose? And what gift in the wound is needed? That's the key. So let's go ahead and, you may not want to share your personal wounds, and I get it, but let's just talk about abandonment. And first, I do want to read a quote by one of my teachers. Years ago, I worked with a therapist who was trained by John Bradshaw, and then I went to workshops and trainings, and way before. And I love that there's so many trauma specialists, so many teachers coming forward to talk about abandonment now, like Gabor Mate and who's the one? Oh, somebody I really, really like. I'm blanking on his name. I'll look it up because he's got a great book that I love, and his name is Peter something, and I'm gonna look it up because it's important. But John Bradshaw, in my mind, was my first teacher about all of this work, and my first introduction to doing inner child work. And he has a number of great books like The Shame That Binds You, but he has got a book called The Homecoming, which is all about our inner child and reclaiming, takes us through the stages of development and the wounds that could happen during those times. So, oh, that's what it was. So I'm going to go to the quote on for John Bradshaw that I thought would really work well tonight. Okay. Any questions as I'm looking for this quote? Okay. I'm going to come back to that. But here, John Bradshaw. Being abandoned through the neglect of our developmental dependency needs is the major factor in becoming an adult child. We grow up, we look like adults, we walk and talk like adults, but beneath the surface is a little child who feels empty and needy. A child whose needs are insatiable because he or she has a child's needs in an adult body. This insatiable child is the core of all compulsive and addictive behavior. Okay, so that quote is from Healing the Shame That Binds You. So here's the key that I really find in my work and with myself. We're wired to long for the needs that we didn't get met as children in the external, because this is how I say it. When we're kids, organically, that's how it's supposed to go. Our parents, we need, and I don't know any family members that have this experience, by the way. I am. I think parents do the best they can, but remember, we're talking about the unconscious. We're talking about 95% of the time we are living through our unconscious programming. We're not even aware until we become aware, until we're willing to do inner work, until we're willing to, as Jung famous quote is, to bring the unconscious to consciousness, right? And then when we do that work, we have a choice. Do I still want to live in this pattern? Do I still want to believe this? Do I still want to do what my mom did or didn't do? What I've identified in my work is we tend to treat ourselves or be with ourselves or not be with ourselves in the way that our family of origin was or was not. So with this wound of abandonment, guess what follows? If you were wounded by somebody who left you, who denied you, neglected you, or rejected you, you may be doing that to yourself. So I ask you then, where are you abandoning yourself? Just think about that. Let that feel into that. And that's a painful reality because we're so waiting for someone to bring us what we need. And yeah, we can expect that as children. I mean, we survive that way. We need to get our needs met in the external by the people that are our family. And when that doesn't happen, that is like the gaping wound. I wasn't seen and met where I needed to be met, or you were neglected, right? So because it's not met as children, as we grow into adulthood, we're still looking for it in other people. When what needs to happen, I call it flipping the switch. We need to flip the switch from somebody else take care of me, that's childlike thinking, to I will take care of me. I will no longer abandon me. I will no longer, right? And then you step in the gap for yourself. So what do you think? Let me just say this. Let me just say, do you have any comments or questions? Learning how to toggle back and forth is a little challenging for me, but all right, you two are quiet. Okay, no questions, no anything. All right, I'll just keep moving along. Okay, so let me go back to my notes. At least tell me how you're feeling. How are you doing in this moment? You don't even have to tell me anything about what I'm talking about. Just how are you doing in this moment? Remember, Haley, you missed the meditation, but the invitation was to drop in and connect to yourself, to feel how you're feeling, to pay attention to your inner narrative, to illuminate. I call it illuminated awareness of what's not working in your inner world, so that, oh, hi, Jamie. Okay, you're driving. Good. You be safe. Okay, I'm glad that you're with us, and watch the replay and comment there. I always say that I love your chat, the chat box, but I think this goes away. And when this goes into replay, go back to my channel, click on lives, click on this video and comment under there. That helps me get more traction on the videos that I put out. Okay, so thank you for that. Supporting me supports others. Okay, so let me go back to my little notes here. So, it's kind of like the way it goes. The medicine is in the wound. Maybe you've heard that. The medicine is the wound, and what is cultivated from abandonment. So, what do you imagine? What do you imagine the medicine is of abandonment? What gifts? What strengths? And maybe you'll write some of those in the chat box. And here's how you find it. If you have the wound of abandonment, how do you show up for others? What qualities do friends, your loved ones, those in relationship with you, what do they comment about you? Oh, I really appreciate you for this. You're so that. um, that is like right over the wound, guides us back to the wound, right? It's like we're trying to offset our wound by becoming what we needed. But here's the thing, we give it to everybody else but ourselves, right? So we need to become who we needed. Let me take that back. We have already become that. We just need to honor that it's for us too. That you don't skip over yourself with your soul medicine. You say, you too. And especially, this is the entryway. The entry point is to acknowledge the younger you that's been waiting for you. See, it's that loop of disappointment and self-fulfilling prophecy, by the way, with maybe now this person will love me the way I needed to be loved, or this person will show up the way my mom couldn't or my dad couldn't. Or we unconsciously draw them in because they're familiar. I remember years ago, I was trying to remember this earlier. Some of it came, I wrote this poem. I was in my 20s, and it was something like, healthy guys not need apply. I'm looking for an unhealthy guy, one he'll leave me second guessing, one who it was just sort of all the dysfunctional things I was experiencing in dating. Because my dad abandoned me, my relationship file was, you're going to fall in love with someone who's not available. That's what I learned. That was my love file. As women, often our first loves are our fathers. How they were with us or how they were with our mothers becomes a big imprint in our subconscious mind about what relationships look like. And then we keep in that loop. I got left again. I got neglected, abandoned, or we pick unavailable people, right? Anybody? I'm not speaking to anybody out there. I know it's not just me. So it took me a long time to heal that. Fortunately, that's where I put most of my focus on, and I'm in a very healthy, happy, loving, committed marriage. And that is my true treasure. Because honestly, for a while there, I thought, I'm never going to fix this. I'm just broken beyond repair, right? I used to have a friend that would say her picker was broken. And that was in my 20s as well, before I learned more about the subconscious mind. It's not your picker that's broken. It's your subconscious programming that has you pulling in similar people because it's familiar. Remember, the subconscious mind, it's our comfort zone. So it sounds like an oxymoron that you would be comfortable with unavailable people, but it's comfortable because it's known and familiar. And this is why it's so hard to shift. How many of you have had the experience of seeing a friend in an unhealthy relationship, or maybe it's you, and they get out of the relationship? When you give them feedback, they can't hear it because they're so in their wound, but they get away out of it for a little bit, and then they see it. Oh gosh, this person wasn't available, this person, whatever. And then they get far enough away from it that they forget, and they only remember the good stuff. So they start moving back towards it. And why do they move back towards it? Because it's the most familiar. It's the programming is more aligned with having what you don't want consciously, because it's what you know. It's familiar. Is this making sense? I hope it is. This is why we see, even sadly, women who grow up in abusive families. Maybe there's physical abuse or emotional abuse, or addiction. Guess what? That's in their love file. Ooh, I'm going to go get me an alcoholic. I know that real well, right? So until we bring that unconscious to consciousness, we don't have the power of choice. And we're going to be on repeat, on repeat, on repeat. Fortunately, when you have, there's something that happens in heartbreak where it's like all of our awareness opens up, like we can see it. And it's a gift of a heartbreak. And I actually, I'm getting really particular about my words. With relationships that don't that end or we're disappointed, it's not heartbreak, it's heart expansion. The heart expands to include ourselves so we can finally see where we are not valuing ourselves enough and knowing that we're worthy of so much more. So the heart expands and it takes you in that moment. And that's why we tend to see when people get out of relationships, they start to get into a rhythm of self-care and soul care that allows them to just shine a little brighter, to get back on to purpose. I remember years ago, it was my 20s. I'm thinking about my 20s a lot tonight, but I had gone through a breakup and I was at a party. And I remember this friend of mine came up to me and said, "You are absolutely radiant. What's going on?" I was like, I don't know. I've been crying a lot. My heart's broken open. I don't know. And it was that moment when I remember that in that breakup, I reclaimed myself. So let's skip the breakup and just reclaim yourself right now. If you're in a relationship right now, and there may be relationships are a little bumpy right now. My husband and I had a little tiff yesterday, and fortunately we know how to get right back into, let's clean that up. We both know how to clean up both sides of that conversation. But the energy is up right now for our wounds to surface, to be revealed, to be healed. We're going to be bumping into them for a while. Why? So we can bring them to consciousness and say, oh, okay, I want to make a different choice. So what's a choice we can make? What's the opposite of being abandoned? Anybody have some ideas? Jamie, you're driving, I know. For me, the healing antidote, is that right? Healing remedy, let's just say that. It's late for me and my words, and like my brain's literally going, hey, it's time to clock out. Healing remedy one is loyalty. Somebody's not available to you. What are you desiring? Loyalty. Those of us who've been abandoned, we're super loyal. I used to have the saying that once you're in my heart, you're in my heart forever. And still, until I came to a place when I realized another level of my healing, I was tolerating behavior that I should not be tolerating. And so I evicted some people. Like, what are they doing in my heart? These are people that have hurt me. No, I can love them from a distance. They're not going to be in my heart. I used to let everybody in. Come on in. And then I would end up getting hurt again. So loyalty, I think also being present to people, honoring, so these things that for you, any of you who's been abandoned, and if you've had the experience, and I think most of us have, what is it you were longing for most? And then notice, where have you been giving that to others? But here's the big takeaway. I hope you do take away. Where can you offer that to yourself? This is the healing remedy. This is the healing way. Where can you be more loyal to your own being, to your soul, to your own needs? Where can you be more present to yourself with compassion? Where can you check in with yourself more? Where can you be that person you've been waiting for? And here's the beautiful thing about that. When you become the one you've been waiting for, and you tend to mend your heart, and you reclaim your worth, your value, your inherent value just for who you are, that is not earned. You just have to claim it. When you do that and you find that wholeness, right? And you start loving and treating yourself like somebody of value, someone that you respect, someone that you're loyal to, then you begin to draw in people that can meet you there. People cannot meet you, especially intimate partners, cannot meet you at a place that you haven't met yourself. You're not willing to hold space for yourself. Why do you think they will? That's magical thinking. That's childlike thinking. Oh, maybe this is going to be my rescuer. This is going to be my protector. This is going to be all those things, right? We need to become our own protectors, providers, and loyal supporters, right? Well, I think that's all I have right now. I'm at 40 minutes. I was going to keep it short, but I get going. All right. So thank you for being with me. I see no comments. I'm going to wrap up now. Just take good care of you and let me know. You can send me an email or comment underneath this video once it's on replay with your takeaways or questions. Anything I could do to help. I'm here. So now you can rewrite the story of being alone. You're not alone. I'm with you. We're on this path and journey together. And if you ever doubt that you're alone in your wounds, I mean, just look at look at the best sellers out there. We're all dealing with the same stuff. We're all going through something. We're all growing through something. So just have compassion for yourself and willingness to get up every day, access some compassion and curiosity, and then, keep going and keep growing. So you can reclaim and all your potential and be your best supporter. All right. Love you all. Thank you so much for being with me. And I'll be coming up with a video this week for the astrological new year. And we'll share more then. Okay. Gotta go. Oops. Lost the screen here. Take good care until next time. Bye.